if you don't mind, could you tell, I know we spoke about maybe a month ago, maybe actually more, what were some of the issues you were experiencing before we met? Like, I know you were referred over, but like, what was the reason that you were referred over? And
So
guys can both jump in if you want.
Yeah, we had some. I can just let me tackle this, Tim. So we had some core issues that for us it was a couple of things. Number one, our existing merchant accounts were initially, limited out the gate. So we had like caps of, $50K a month or $70K a month and things like that. And there were times that we would go over that and we would get penalized for it by them freezing our account versus, hey, you guys are doing great with business. How can we expand your volume capability? They said, no, we're doing 100% reserve. You guys are doing good business. There's something wrong with you. So that was a core issue. Like, what the heck is going on? Right. And the other was literally, I didn't feel, and neither did Tim, like we could really communicate with anybody on a, hey, I got this issue or that issue. Can you help me out? It didn't feel like that existed. And an example of that is on our identifier, on like the credit card statements, it was all over. Sometimes it was one company name. Sometimes it was a different name. Sometimes a phone number was there. Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it's my cell phone number. And we submitted over the last 5 or 6 years. Thank you. We submitted over the last 5 or 6 years, 10 at a minimum of the faxed in requests to change the phone number on the identifier on the bank statement and so on. Wow. Never happened. So I'm getting, customer calls on my cell phone number. I don't answer my cell phone typically. So they wouldn't get an answer. Finally, on my personal cell phone, I had to leave a voice, the message says, hey, it's David. You reached the business too. And if you have an issue, if you need help, go to support. I mean, on my personal cell phone, I'm telling people to go to support and so on. So just things like that. It's like, come on, you guys are a business too. So when we, chatted, I was chatting with Chico about that. And he's like, well, I got a great company. So it was a breath of fresh air to hear about what he was doing with you guys. So I was excited to chat with you, and I'm excited that we're going to roll forward. And to wrap that up, we were getting chargebacks and things like that because of the lack of communication. Our customers couldn't find us because, again, they're calling my cell phone, and there's no contact info on the identifiers and things like that.
Right.
There's also nothing in place. I know Darnell was talking to us about all of the stopgaps you guys have for preventing chargebacks. So making sure the phone number is in the identifier, numerous other things. So really excited to get that going so we can drop those way down because they just don't need to be there.
Good. When I heard David say they put a cap, Chico also had caps when he came around. He says that I think his was maybe like 75. I can't remember exactly. So when you hit that cap, what would you guys do? Because, I mean, were you always surpassing that cap? Like, what would you do? Would you just not turn the ads off or not do as much business? How did you get around that?
We just recently hired this new person. Mm-hmm. So we're anticipating the growth coming as soon as we basically give that green light. Gotcha. In the past, it's been like playing Russian roulette because we go over our limits and just wonder, are we going to get reserved or not? Mm. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
And so that's not a good way to operate a business.
No.
There'd be times we'd get like an email notice on, the 22nd of the month. Hey, you've gone over your monthly volume limit. So we're putting 100% reserve on your account until the end of the month. And then it's going to go back to normal. So,
wow.
Okay. So you guys are basically for 8 days. It just didn't make any sense versus, hey, you guys got some good volume going on.
Right.
Why? What's going on? This is great. You got some new advertising. It was the strangest thing, strangest thing.
double or triple your limit because we want you to continue to grow. This is wonderful. We're doing good business together.
So the downside is instead of taking that extra revenue as operating revenue that we put into more marketing, it's gone, for 6 months because it goes into that reserve account. So every time that would happen, we lose that extra for 6 months.
Okay. Got you. So the caps, man, that's what really hurt you guys, the caps.
Absolutely.
And then also the identifiers, because and I think we spoke about this before, what we want to do was go in. Now, we didn't put it there, so we have to, do it methodically and via protocol. We didn't put it there, but we can actually help clean it up and remove it. So any of these flags that are out there, these quote unquote negative flags that are out there, we can begin to go and systematically remove those. So the identifier absolutely is a major issue. Everybody knows that. Like if I purchase something online and from a company called 100 MME or whatever, and then something else shows up as next level, I don't know what next level is. I won't remember 30 days from now when I see my credit statement. Right. I'll probably end up canceling it, and or the issuing bank sometimes will send me a text saying, do you recognize this? And then all I have to do is say no. So all those things are kind of like going against you guys, and it could easily be resolved with an identifier. Because if someone says, if Chase sends me a text that says, hey, do you recognize Next Level? I'm like, no, I don't know who Next Level is, because I didn't buy anything from Next Level. I bought something from a 100 MME or whatever. So that can absolutely be a problem. So the identifier was an issue. And you said you fill out the application 10 times or the fax or whatever, 10 times to change it. That never happened.
Never changed.
Okay.
For years, it never changed.
Years, okay. And now, were you dealing with small institutions, or were these like it was like a payment aggregator, like a high risk entity like PayPal or Stripe, or were these banks?
They were well known. Who was the main culprit of that, Tim?
Well, Evo.
They're a pretty big company. Yeah, they're pretty big.
Yeah, this big and not personal at all, unless they send you an email saying you did too much and we're putting a reserve on your account. Gotcha. That's the only time they reach out.
Okay, gotcha, understood.